Russia's military is stretched there and elsewhere. Its Mediterranean task force was once a mix of surface ships, submarines and support vessels. Now, in effect, there is hardly any Russian naval presence in the Mediterranean left. There is a lone and broken Russian submarine limping home from patrol. What a change from the 1984 Tom Clancy novel, The Hunt for Red October. Today, it seems more like the hunt for the nearest mechanic. Is that they are saying, if a plane would pose a threat, we have the authorities to do, if necessary, the ultimate. But if the plane is not posing a threat, we are not going to shoot it down. And then we will gently guide it outside the airspace. This is exactly what they should do. And I totally agree with that approach, because we are so strong.
Proportional response.
It is proportional response, exactly. And we are so much stronger than the Russians. We don't have to take down Russian airplanes because they enter our airspace. We do it if they enter our airspace and also pose a threat. If we were weak, you might maybe think, okay, we are weak, so we have to immediately show them that whenever they enter our airspace, we shoot them down. But if they don't pose a threat, being so much stronger than the Russians, I think it is much stronger that our reaction is as it is, proportionate, and of course making clear to the Russians that we are not too happy about these incursions.
This is my video update on this Wednesday afternoon, October the 15th, coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with NATO CEO Mark Rutte, who was at a NATO event discussing how to make it easier for NATO to shoot down Russian fighter jets over NATO airspace. And Mark Rutte, he said that if a Russian fighter jet is over NATO airspace and it does not pose a military threat to NATO, then what NATO should do is that they should escort that fighter jet out of NATO airspace. They should not shoot that fighter jet down if it does not pose an immediate direct military threat to NATO. And the reasoning, according to Mark Rutte, for this is that NATO is much more powerful than Russia. NATO's military is much more powerful than the Russian military. It is infinitely more powerful than the Russian military, and shooting down a Russian fighter jet that does not pose a military threat to NATO would be a sign of weakness, and NATO should not display weakness towards a Russian military that is so much more weaker than NATO, because according to Rutte, NATO is much more powerful than the Russian military. So if there is a fighter jet over NATO airspace and it is not a threat to NATO, then escort it out of NATO airspace. And NATO should not show any weakness, because it is the much stronger military, much stronger than the Russian military. Rutte made it a point to say that NATO is much stronger than the Russian military. What is that cat doing over there? So that was Rutte talking about how NATO is much stronger than the Russian military, much more stronger than the Russian military, which is the narrative, which was the narrative at that event. At other events where NATO CEO Mark Rutte is speaking at, the Russian military is very strong and is advancing towards Europe, so NATO needs more money and more weapons in order to stop the strong Russian military, which is advancing towards Europe and will invade Europe. So depending on the day, you have different narratives, right? The one narrative is that the Russian military is super weak, and at other times the Russian military is super strong. Pick your day, pick your day, pick your narrative. Anyway, Rutte then said that the Russian Navy has been completely decimated. It has been completely annihilated. He says there are no more Russian warships, no Russian submarines. There's nothing, man. He said there is nothing. No more Navy, according to Mark Rutte. Actually, they have just one more ship or one more sub. And he said, long gone are the days of Tom Clancy's The Hunt for Red October. He said, now it's more like the hunt for a mechanic. Is that what he said? Today it seems more like the hunt for the nearest mechanic. I get it. Mark Rutte, you're a funny guy. You're a funny guy, Mark Rutte. It's a great joke, man, right? No more do we have the hunt for Red October. Now we have the hunt for the nearest mechanic. He's funny, man. He's cracking jokes, man. He is cracking jokes. Anyway, that was Mark Rutte bashing Russia and mocking Russia, and now you have Pete Hegseth in Brussels, and Hegseth, he is going to be attending a NATO defense ministers meeting, so they can discuss Project Ukraine. This is the contact group, right? The group that Biden and Lloyd Austin set up. That's what this is. And the U.S. was supposed to not be involved in the Ukraine contact group, right? Hegseth was pulling out, and the UK was taken over. Remember that? Yeah, forget about that. Hegseth is back in Brussels, back at NATO headquarters. He is telling the NATO member states to purchase American weapons. That is what he is telling NATO member states. Start forking over the dough to purchase the amazing American weapons. And about Tomahawks, Hegseth did not say yes, did not say no. That will be discussed, according to CNN. Firepower coming for Ukraine, Hegseth says. But Tomahawks not on agenda at NATO meeting. So Hegseth is in Brussels, and they're talking about purchasing American weapons, and talking about providing Ukraine with more firepower, because the U.S. is the neutral mediator in all of this, right? The U.S. is the neutral mediator, and so the Secretary of War is at NATO headquarters planning the next escalation against Russia in this proxy war for which Trump wants to find peace, and for which the United States is neutral, right? They're neutral and they're just trying to mediate a peace. Anyway, that is Hegseth in Brussels, and Alinsky had a team of his in D.C. They arrived in D.C., I believe, on Monday or Tuesday morning. The Prime Minister of Ukraine, I believe, it's not Schmiegel anymore. It's not my precious Schmiegel. He's gone. It's now Julia Sviridенko. Yulia Sviridенko, I believe, is her name, the Prime Minister of Ukraine. And Yermak was also in D.C., and they were meeting with Scott Bessent because they have to talk about the money, the money that Trump is going to be giving to Ukraine, so that they can purchase more weapons, and so that they can keep the war going, because the United States is the neutral mediator in all of this, and Trump wants to find a peace in Ukraine. So Yermak and the Prime Minister of Ukraine, Yulia, they were in D.C. speaking with Scott Bessent about getting the money in place so that they can effectively escalate the conflict against Russia. And Bessent said that that the U.S. is behind you. They are supporting you 100%. Washington ready to increase pressure on Russia, said U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, stressed the need for European allies to ratchet up their pressure campaign, not only against Russia, but also against any economy that purchases Russian oil. Scott Bessent is back at India and China again. He's gone full circle. We're back at India and China. We're back at sanctions. We're back at tariffs. Don't purchase Russian oil or else 500% tariffs. So we're back there again. But basically they were there. They were in D.C. meeting with Bessent so that they can get the financing of the escalation in place, right? And just remember that Trump, he's not like Biden. He's not giving money to Ukraine, right? He's not giving money to Ukraine. He's selling stuff. He's selling stuff to NATO, who will then sell the stuff to Ukraine or give the stuff to Ukraine. What does Trump care? He's just making money by selling stuff to NATO, right? Always keep that in mind as Bessent is having meetings with Yermak and Yulia, the prime minister of Ukraine, the new prime minister of Ukraine. And arriving in D.C. on Friday will be none other than the Green Goblin and Podolyak. Because wherever Alinsky goes, Podolyak follows. Podolyak is Alinsky's sidekick, right? So Alinsky's going to be in D.C. and the main topic is Tomahawks and Trump. He was meeting with Malay in the White House. So Malay came to D.C. And what is Malay looking for? Malay is looking for $20 billion. He wants to wrap up the $20 billion USD bailout. And so he traveled to D.C. so they can talk about it. On October, I want to say 29th, either 26th or 29th, there are going to be midterm elections in Argentina, which is going to be a test for Malay, a type of referendum for how Malay is doing. He needs bailouts. His administration is embroiled in all kinds of scandals. And so these are going to be very important midterm elections. And Trump, he actually said that if Milei does not do well in these elections, if his party, if these elections do not turn out well for Milei, then Argentina may not get that 20 billion USD bailout.
A little bit like that with, if you take a look at Argentina, if the president doesn't win, I know the person that he'd be running against, I believe, probably, we probably have the person. A person is extremely far left and a philosophy that got Argentina into this problem in the first place. So we would not be generous with Argentina if that happened. If he loses, we are not going to be generous with Argentina.
This is not any type of U.S. election meddling that is going on in Argentina, okay? Just because U.S. President Trump is saying that if the elections do not favor Milei, he is not going to give Argentina $20 billion. It does not mean that the United States is in any way meddling or trying to influence the outcome of the midterm elections in Argentina, okay? Okay, so saying that, Trump was asked about Project Ukraine. He was asked about Project Ukraine. By the way, Milei, he presented Trump with a letter nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm not making this up, man. This is coming straight from the White House's X account. Argentina President Milei presents President Donald J. Trump with a letter nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize. There you go. Give me $20 billion. I like it. I like it. You got it. Here's $20 billion. Now go win those elections. All right. So Trump took questions on Project Ukraine, on the Tomahawk missiles, on the Green Goblin coming to the United States on Friday. And man, did Trump bash Russia. Man, he really lashed out at Russia and at Putin. I mean, he really, really laid into Russia and Putin this time around. I mean, this was the most brutal I have seen Trump towards Russia and Putin to date. First off, he said about the Tomahawks that the U.S. has a lot of Tomahawks. They got a lot of Tomahawks, and Zelensky is going to want those Tomahawks. He is coming to the United States to get some Tomahawks, and we have a lot of Tomahawks. And he said everyone wants Tomahawks. He said everybody wants Tomahawks, Trump said. So he threw that out there. And then he just laid into Putin, man. He just laid into Putin and into Russia. U.S. President Donald Trump said on October 14th that Russian President Vladimir Putin should do something about the war in Ukraine, calling it a costly failure for Moscow. Speaking at a joint press conference with Argentina's President Milei, Trump said Putin should have won the war in 1 week and noted that the full-scale invasion is now entering its 4th year. He called the war horrible, claimed that Putin has lost 1.5 million soldiers, killed and wounded, and said the war is making Putin look very bad. Trump also praised Ukraine's defense, noting that who would think that Ukraine could have fought Russia for 4 years to essentially a standstill. He said that Putin has got to really settle this war, adding, they have long lines waiting for gasoline in Russia right now. All of a sudden, his economy is going to collapse, and I'd like to see him do well. I mean, I had a very good relationship with Vladimir Putin, but he just doesn't want to end that war. You see, Putin just doesn't want to end the war. It's all Putin's fault. Putin doesn't want to end the war. Biden's at fault for the war. And Trump's just trying to mediate a peaceful end to the war because he's the peace president. Peace through strength. President of Peace, Donald J. Trump.
He's lost 1.5 million soldiers, probably, close. It's bigger than any of them. I settled 8 of them. The biggest is that in terms of death. Incredible. I think India, Pakistan had great potential too. We did a great job in that one, but he's got to really settle this war. And they have long lines waiting for gasoline in Russia right now, right? They have long lines. Who thought that was going to happen? And all of a sudden his economy is going to collapse.
So yeah, he hit all the talking points when it comes to Russia bashing. He nailed the script perfectly. Long lines at the gasoline station, so Russia's economy is in tatter. It's going to collapse. 1.5 million Russian losses. Another military would have won this war in a week or in 4 days, or taken Kiev in 3 days, or taken Kiev in 3 hours. Putin's looking really bad. Putin is failing. It's costing him dearly. He hit all of the Russian propaganda, Russia bashing talking points very, very effectively in his statement to the media. So what about the Tomahawks? How many Tomahawks can the United States give to Zelensky? How many Tomahawks are they going to give to Zelensky? How many long-range missiles are they going to give to Zelensky? Because all of this planning that has been going on for the past, let's say, month is going somewhere. I mean, there's going to be a big escalation, right? Because Zelensky is calling Trump almost every other day. Ukraine officials are in D.C. Almost every other day. They're planning this on a military level in NATO, in the United States. The Department of War is planning this. Hegseth is planning stuff out. The escalation is coming. The question is just what is this escalation going to be? When Hegseth says that firepower is coming, what is going to be that firepower? Is it going to be Tomahawks, or is it going to be something else? The Financial Times, they interviewed some military think tank experts, And they concluded that the United States could probably give anywhere between 20 to 50 Tomahawk missiles because the United States just doesn't have Tomahawks to spare. It has about 4,000 Tomahawks, but in 2022, it purchased something like 200, and its next order is around 56 Tomahawks that it's ordered. And it just doesn't have the hundreds or thousands of Tomahawks that Ukraine wants, that could possibly make some sort of a difference in the conflict, according to the Financial Times. These experts, because these experts are saying that 20 to 50 Tomahawks, while they would do some damage, especially when you mix them up with drones and stuff like that, they would get through. Some would get through, and they would do some damage to Russia. They would not change the overall trajectory of the conflict. What's needed is many, many, many more Tomahawks. But just because a think tank expert that the Financial Times has interviewed says 20 to 50 Tomahawks, it could be more. It could be other long-range missiles, right? Remember, Biden, it was thought that Biden, when he was giving the ATACMS missiles, right, that he was only giving something like 50 ATACMS, and it turned out that he gave hundreds and hundreds of ATACMS, right? He completely depleted the U.S. inventory. So even if it's 50 Tomahawks, once this thing gets going, there's no reverse gear. And when the collective West sees that Putin's response to Tomahawks is we're just going to beef up our own air defense systems and nothing else, well, they essentially have the green light to escalate, right? So, it starts with 20 or 50, and it can go to the hundreds or the thousands. So that is what the Financial Times is reporting. And what else? And Trump also, he talked about BRICS, and Trump, man, he talked about BRICS, and he said that BRICS is done, man. It's over, man. Game over, man. Game over. It's over, man, for BRICS. He said he put the tariffs on BRICS. He threatened tariffs on BRICS, and Trump now says that BRICS has died due to his tariffs. Everyone is dropping out of BRICS. He said no one talks about it anymore. That is what Trump said about BRICS. No one talks about BRICS anymore. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and Spain, according to Trump, right?
And now the domination like BRICS. I told anybody wants to be in BRICS, that's fine, but we're going to put tariffs on your nation. Everybody dropped out. They're all dropping out of BRICS. BRICS was an attack on the dollar. And I said, you want to play that game, I'm going to put tariffs on all of your product coming into the U.S. They said, like I said, we're dropping out of BRICS. And BRICS is like, they don't even talk about it anymore.
Yeah, no one talks about them anymore. Just the threat of tariffs, according to Trump, made all of the countries just run away from BRICS. 300% tariffs, we're done. We don't want any part of BRICS. And so Trump has destroyed BRICS with his amazing tariff, his weaponization of the tariff policy. He has destroyed BRICS, and Russia is crumbling. All is good for the United States, for the president of the United States, for the neocons. The neocon strategy is working out very, very well. And Russia, they're going to beef up their air defenses. That's what they're going to do to counter all of the escalation. We're going to beef up our air defenses. That's it. We're just going to beef up our air defenses. 10 Tomahawks, 50 Tomahawks, Tomahawks with nuclear warheads. We're just going to add a couple of more S-400s over here and over there, and it'll be all right. That was the response from Putin. Peskov was asked to reply to all of the escalation and Russia bashing that is taking place in the collective West. And Peskov's reply, the Kremlin spokesman, he said that Russia is interested in peace. We want to talk, he said. That was his reply. He said, we want to talk. We want to talk with Trump. We believe that Alaska is the formula, right? Ushakov said that Alaska is the guiding light to peace with the Trump administration, right? It's the guiding light is Alaska. So that was their response to all the trash talking from Trump and from RUTTE and from everybody in the collective West. Kaya Kallas, all the trash talking that is going on. The response is, we really want to deal with President Trump. Trump, he's got everybody kind of wanting to get along with him, right? Everyone wants to make a deal with Trump, it seems. Everyone wants to make a deal with Trump. Europeans want to make a deal with Trump. Zelensky wants deals with Trump. He wants money from Trump. And Russia wants to deal with Trump. And everyone wants to do business with Trump. And Trump, what he does with the Europeans, he humiliates the Europeans and he bashes the Russians. That's his technique. I figured out his technique. He likes to humiliate the Europeans and he likes to bash the Russians. That's how he works it, Trump, as everyone is trying to get on his good side, right? So that is the update there. And in Ukraine, Alinsky has taken over Odessa. Yeah, he's made a move on Odessa. He got rid of the mayor of Odessa, or he's trying to get rid of the mayor of Odessa. He said that the mayor of Odessa has a Russian passport, and that disqualifies him from being the mayor of Odessa. And then he put in a military administration into Odessa, and now they're running the city. And this is just a power grab from Zelensky. From what I understand, the mayor of Odessa was against tearing down statues, against changing the city and hiding its Russian roots. He was against all of that, destroying statues and buildings and all of these things. He didn't like that, and Zelensky got rid of him. The mayor's name is Trukhanov. Zelensky to appoint head of new Odessa City Military Administration. Tuesday's announcement follows the revelation of Odessa Mayor handedly Trukhanov's Russian citizenship, which was confirmed by the SBU after nearly a decade of rumors. Well, if the Ukraine SBU confirms it, then you know it's correct, right? So the SBU confirmed that Trukhanov is a Russian passport holder, right? And if they confirm it, well, then you can take it to the freaking bank. The SBU, the Ukraine SBU, never, ever, ever lies. No, they never, ever, ever lie. There are people who have been analyzing the images of Trukhanov's passport, and they are saying that there's no way this was a Russian passport. It's a forgery. It's a fake, because the translation doesn't follow the Russian government's standards. The way it's translated into English, I believe, the English parts of the passport that have to get translated from Russian are not following the Russian state standards as to how the translation of the passport actually works. And so many of the analysts on the interwebs are saying that the SBU is putting out a fake forgery passport. Whatever the case, this is Zelensky grabbing power in Odessa, right? And my guess would be that he wants to lock down Odessa because he is afraid of a Russian advance into Odessa, and he's probably afraid that if the Russian military begins to approach Odessa in like the next year or so, then there might be some sort of a movement inside Odessa, like inside the city, by residents of Odessa, to remove the Zelensky regime and to go with Russia. And I think that's what he's afraid of. So he's taken over Odessa. Not to mention that there's probably all kinds of money and weapons and everything moving through the port. And I can see Zelensky saying that he wants maybe a bigger cut of everything that's getting moved into Odessa, in and out of Odessa. So there's definitely some money involved in this as well, right? And Zelensky, he needs the money. He needs the money. Anyway, the Trump administration, they annihilated another boat. This is the fifth boat that they have destroyed. This one was right off the coast of Venezuela. They claim it was in international waters. That is what the Pentagon claims. Of course, they also claim this was a narco terrorist cartel boat, whatever they call it, right? And they annihilated this boat. 6 people killed just like that. And when you see the video of the destroying of this boat, you know what? The boat was not even moving, man. It was not even moving. It was just sitting there, not moving at all. It wasn't going anywhere. Wasn't doing anything. It was just a boat sitting in the water, right? Floating in the water. And then boom, the US military just destroyed it. They could have easily, if they wanted to, they could have easily seized the boat, boarded the boat. But no, they just decided to annihilate it. And it wasn't anywhere near the United States, right? It was close to Venezuela, but no matter. We'll never really know what was on that boat, if anything, but 6 people did lose their life from this military operation, if you can even call it that. Is it a military operation? I don't think so. U.S. strikes another boat. It says was trafficking drugs. 6 killed in the U.S. military's 5th reported strike on vessels allegedly engaged in smuggling illegal substances from Latin America. And staying with Venezuela, the Nobel Prize winner, Maria Corina, she spoke with Donald Trump Jr. And she said, forget Saudi Arabia. I mean, we have more oil than them. I mean, endless possibilities. We will privatize our entire industry for you. American companies will profit greatly. The patriot that is Maria Corina Machado, the Nobel Prize winner. Forget about Saudi Arabia. Forget about Saudi Arabia, Trump Jr. Get regime change in Venezuela, overthrow the government, and all the oil is yours. It is yours. Yours for the taking. Take it all. Take it all. Because that's what it means to be a Nobel Prize winner, right? You give oil to the United States. You give oil to the United States, you win a Nobel Peace Prize. I like it. I like it. Anyway, let's do an update on the U.S.-China trade war. So Trump posted on Truth, I believe that China purposefully not buying our soybeans and causing difficulty for our soybean farmers in an economically hostile act. We are considering terminating business with China having to do with cooking oil and other elements of trade as retribution. As an example, we can easily produce cooking oil ourselves. We don't need to purchase it from China. Well, then make cooking oil, man. I mean, why are you posting this stuff on Truth, man? Come on, get to making that cooking oil if you don't want to buy it from China. What's the problem, man? Hostile act from China not buying the soybeans. It has nothing to do with the 100% tariffs that Trump placed on China. None of the Chinese actions has to do with the Liberation Day tariffs against China. Nope. China's just doing this because they're bad. Because they are bad. It's just China being China, man. And so we are getting reports that the Netherlands, they did indeed seize the Nexperia semiconductor company, the Chinese semiconductor company located in the Netherlands on U.S. orders. There have been some documents that have been released to a court, and it shows that the Netherlands was under pressure from the United States to do something about Nexperia. So they did. They seized the company. They removed the executives, the CEO, and they took it over. The subsidiary of Wingtech, which is the Chinese company, and the retaliation now from China is that Nexperia's facilities that are located in China that are doing some of the manufacturing, a lot of the manufacturing, China has imposed an export control on Nexperia facilities in China. So you see what happened here? The Netherlands, they decide to take this company, right? They just take it. They wake up one morning and they say this company, 14,000 employees, is now ours. They cite some national security risks, some obscure laws in the books in the Netherlands, and they seize control of this company, this subsidiary company with facilities in China as well. And so what do the Chinese do? They say, well, okay, you've taken this company, all of the manufacturing for this company that's located in the Netherlands, a lot of it is taking place inside of China. And so we're just going to put a stop to anything that this company produces from being exported to the European Union. So we're going to put some export controls and export stop. And that is that. And from my understanding of Nexperia, they make essential chips that are needed in all kinds of products, including automobiles. That's my understanding of Nexperia. It's quite a big company, important in a lot of end goods, and now they're not going to be providing the products to the European Union, or at least the materials that are manufactured in China are not going to be going to the European Union, where they will then be sold to various companies that need the Nexperia chips. So the European Union, the Netherlands, shooting itself in both feet at the request of the United States. So anyway, that's an update there. We are also getting some reports from Bloomberg that the European Union is considering, they haven't decided this yet, but they are considering forcing Chinese companies to transfer technology if they want to operate within the EU. According to Bloomberg, these requirements will apply to companies that want to enter key European technology markets, including the production of batteries and automobiles. The EU is picking a fight now with China. They're picking a big fight with China. This is not going to turn out well for Ursula and the European Union, but this is what vassals are for, right? When the United States tells them to start doing these things, the vassals, they have to do these things, even if it means destroying their own well-being. So let's do some clown worlds and we can wrap this video up. The first clown world is Trump. We go back to US President Trump, and he issued a threat to Spain. He told Spain that if you do not spend more on NATO, then we are going to hit you with very hard tariffs. That is what Trump said. Trump accused Spain of being the only nation that did not increase its military spending to 5% of its GDP. When talking to journalists at the White House on Tuesday, I'm very unhappy with Spain, he said, claiming that Madrid had been unbelievably disrespectful of the military bloc. I was thinking about giving them trade punishment through tariffs because of what they did. I may do that, the president said, without going into details about the potential sanctions. That's right, Spain. Trump is very upset with you. He is very disappointed with you, very unhappy with Spain, because they have disrespected NATO by not increasing the spending to 5%. It's very disrespectful to NATO, right? You don't want to buy weapons to NATO, which means buying weapons from the United States. Well, then we're going to tariff you. So that is one statement that Trump made. And one of many statements that Trump made. And Sikorsky, thank you, USA, Radoslav Sikorsky, he was in the UK, and he was speaking to the parliament in Britain, and he brought with him a drone, a Russian drone, a geranium drone is what he brought with him to parliament in the UK. Today, a downed geranium drone was demonstrated, a key weapon in Putin's war against Ukraine. This is the first public demonstration of the geranium drone in Europe, according to Sikorsky. So this guy decides to bring a freaking big drone, big Russian drone to the parliament in the UK to make his point that the conflict in Ukraine needs to continue. More escalation. He's preaching to the choir, man. Why do you need to do this in the UK? The UK is 1,000% on board with Project Ukraine and more escalation and more money and more weapons. You didn't have to bring a freaking drone with you. But anyway, it was for show. It was for the drama effect of it all. And that was Sikorsky. Thank you, USA, for blowing up the Nord Stream pipeline. Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorsky traveling around with drones. How did that get through the airport security, man? Come on, Sikorsky. What's going on here? Was that a carry-on or what? Check it in. Anyway, Sikorsky also said that Ukraine is planning the conflict for 3 more years. Everything's been planned out for another 3 years with the war against Russia. Poland Sikorsky says Europe must prepare for deep Russian strike. That is what Sikorsky said. And finally, we'll end this video, not a clown world, but I'll end this video with a video from the European Union where a journalist asks an EU official, if Russia has to pay to rebuild Ukraine, does Israel have to pay to rebuild Gaza? And the EU official's answer to this question, very simple, very basic question, was no comment. No comment on that one. Anyway, that is the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We're on X, we're on Rumble, we're on Telegram. Like this video. I forgot to say it in the beginning. Oh man, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Liking this video helps me out a whole lot, helps out the channel. And I will see everybody tomorrow. Take care.